was on my front porch and we were talking, and I was telling him about this show, and the frog landed on my face like this. And his 2 hands were up here and his 2 feet were right there. He landed like that. And I freaked out, and I ripped him off my face and I threw him, and Manny was looking at me like, he was like scared at first, but then we started laughing. I'm coming up to a light and I look ahead. A sun is that way. The sunset's back there, but that thing that's glowing is where I'm going to play some songs at this very small church. And I'm on my bike, I'm riding, the frog hits me in the arm and it slid and bounced down. The frog left a black grease mark on my arm. I had this amazing feeling that all these kids, like with the acid culture and the weed and all that and burning incense, they're doing it in a very spiritual way. That original spiritual incense stuff, the mysteries of God, it was God. It's God. It's amazing. All this stuff that people are seeking, Ouija boards and all, it's all God. And he's way more mysterious than the devil. The devil you get, every time there'll be a saying. It's like, hey, I get a little power here and there, but it'll destroy you.
Right,
It'll,
torment
yes.
Be not worth it to be.
I was nearly killed just like a couple of months ago. There's a feeling that someone's trying to literally kill me. And so I'm thinking like, what does this all mean? It's a spiritual world that I believe that people are seeking. They're looking for answers in things that you can see, and it's like it's all around us. He's talking to us all the time. We just either are listening or not. And now my eyes are open.
Hi, we just want to welcome you to the BTLfield podcast. Jesse Simon is the one that originated this podcast, and this is his second interview. First question I have for you is, what made you come up with the idea?
I went to hell. If you guys watched the first episode of mine in the first season, you'll know I got into a motorcycle accident. I had my foot chopped off and I died. And I did the math, because in the Bible it says that a day here is like 1,000 years to God. My experience when I was dead, I felt like it was 10 years. And so I did the math. I figured out that if I was dead for 14 seconds, it would have been 10 years. I got my medical records from Shands Hospital where they did the operation, and I had the near-death experience in that hospital. It's reams of paper. So I'm like trying to look at the evidence and trying to find out all the details. And I start going through, I'm like, there's no way. Even if I really did sit there looking through every single piece of paper, it's still, I could miss it. Like, it's so technical. And so I kind of just gave up on it. Now I use the paper as scrap paper. Me and Jordan, the host, we were printing out song sheets for a song called Evidence, because we were playing it live. And she said, wouldn't it be crazy if this is evidence of you dying? And it prints out and we look at the back of it and it says right there, they had to get my body temperature back up.
Well, it seems like everybody's kind of searching for the supernatural, and they're trying to find it in the ghosts and the supernatural things that would basically not be of God. So it seems to me like a lot of this too is that you're trying to show that Christians do experience supernatural things happening to them from God, and it's pretty amazing.
Some of it is so freaky, and it's just like, it almost seems like it's witchcraft, because the things that have been happening are just so weird. Like the first thing, and this was before actually this whole channel got started. Manny was on my front porch and we were talking, and I was telling him about this show and how, God's telling me to film experiences, tell him about the show. I finished telling him about the show, and a frog, I don't know where it came from, the frog had to be sticking like up like that and over to the left. The frog landed on my face like this. And his 2 hands were up here and his 2 feet were right there. He landed like that. And I freaked out, and I ripped him off my face and I threw him, and Manny was looking at me like, he was like scared at first, but then we started laughing. We just started like cracking up because I was like, what the? But like the instant it hit my face, the thing hitting me made me feel like a fool. And that's why I think it was like the devil. I thought, well, the whole thing about the channel is stupid because now I'm a silly, but then now I think because of the other ones that it could have been God like testing my dedication to it. Like, are you just gonna let some silly thing stop you from doing the show? So I'd say it was the first time I was playing the Bible while I rode my bike for very long distances, because I go from here to Brooksville, which is 10 miles, something like that. So I was going back and forth, doing about 20, and then sometimes I would purposely do another 10 miles so that the Bible, because it was the first really time that it started to, it was like I was like, I need an answer to this issue I'm going through. And I started to get answers, and it was weird because it was like speaking directly to the problem, and I was like, oh, well, that's how I handle that. Because that's how that person in the Bible did it. That God's telling me to do it that way, how to get through this. And so I'm doing that like every day. And I come up to this a road, and I can go right or left. The right would be downhill, and it was super easy. I just coast downhill. And then left was uphill, so it would have been a trek. So I took the easy way, of course, why wouldn't I? But I knew God didn't want me to go that way. It was like, come on, what does it matter? Like, I'm gonna go down the easy way. So I come down, and there's these crows, and they're, rah, rah. And there's a crow that has a frog in his mouth. He went in his mouth, he threw the frog at me. And I'm on my bike, I'm riding, Bible app on. The frog hits me in the arm, and I felt his belly like hit my arm, and it slid and bounced down. And the frog left a black grease mark. A crow threw a frog at me, and I'm like, what just happened? And so I smell and it's like the worst. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta turn around right. If that's the beginning of what's gonna happen if I keep going, no. I turned around right away. Like, it was so weird that like I can't even like comprehend it, but I'm like, that was so freaky that it got my attention. I was like, oh, whatever, I'll just go up the hill. And I finally get up the hill, and then I'm coming down it, and I can just think like, I need to just wash my arm. And I'm cruising down, I start like feeling better, and I look to my left, and there's this we got these white egret birds. They're like majestic. They got like the kind of pelican neck, and one of them's cruising, a white bird cruising. And I was like, okay, and I got the Bible app still on. Then another one on the other side of this road I'm riding my bike on is another one. And so there's these 2 white birds. So before it was like perpendicular with crows, and then a frog, and dark, like crazy. And then the other way, when I listened to what God was telling me to do, is like this peaceful, like majestic bird, like leading me right. And so it was amazing. I mean, I was like, I have to tell someone about this.
I think that God handles different people in different situations. So a lot of times God will handle me with a sense of humor,
Yeah.
And if you're into seeing the supernatural things, and I mean, he has a heart for his people, right? So sometimes it takes something a little freaky or weird.
Yeah, that's me. It's so me. I do art and music, and I'm a video guy too. And I try to tell people he requires us to just have a little bit of faith in the unseen. But then when you give him that little faith in the unseen, he literally gives you seen. He shows you things like that you can actually see. So when people say, oh, well, just faith in something I can't see, that might be true at first, you just a little bit, but then you don't have to have faith in the unseen because you see it all around you, and he speaks to you in a very specific way, just like you said.
It was like you were saying earlier with the Bible points you in a certain direction, when you have something that you pray about, and it's like the Bible opens up to that specific verse, it's a living document. And I mean, God just saves that just for you.
Yeah.
Somebody else might read that same verse and they won't see it at all. So
well, I'll say the first frog actually was before the motorcycle accident, when the witch, she tried to kill me. She grabbed I had this gargoyle paperweight thing that my friend Adam left over my apartment. She grabbed this gargoyle and she tried to smash me in the head with it. She reeled back like this and was about to hit my head with it. I got it out of her hand right in time and it smashed on the ground. I don't think I was drinking that night, but we would drink together. It was just awful. That's when I believe she put a curse on me, because the next night, after that night, there was a huge frog. And it was in my apartment, and it was hopping around in my kitchen, it would get on the ceiling, and I had a bucket and I was trying to get this frog out, and it was huge. But no matter what I did, I couldn't get this frog out. And I remember telling my neighbor, because I was out on the porch, and I was like, dude, I can't get this frog out. And he said something like, well, isn't your girl, because he saw her, he said, dude, that's weird. He said something like witchcraft. I remember him saying that. So I sold this painting that I did for this event called Battle of the Brushes in Ocala. And you had 9 hours to paint a painting. And so I finished this painting, and someone at the show liked the painting and they said they wanted to buy it. And I remember at the time I was just coming to Christ, and so it was cool because she paid me half up front and said, well, take your time and finish it. So I did, and I was able to put the Holy Spirit dove in it and all these little Christian Easter eggs. So I drive the painting to her. In conversation, she tells me about the spiders. One time that she was camping and she was looking up at her tent, and there was all these spiders above her when she was laying in her tent, and she was scared. So she told the spiders, look, you guys are gonna leave me alone. And they all kind of stopped and then dispersed. Her saying that on my way there, I'm not kidding, a spider, I was driving on I-75 and a little spider came out from the dash, and he came up about to midway on my door, looked at me, and I said, all right, dude, you don't mess with me, I won't mess with you. And he went back in the dash. She didn't know that. And so that led into us talking about my mom, her mom, a believer and all that stuff, into her mom was in South America, and there was a plague of frogs. She says frogs. So conversation kept going, and then I left. She gave me this book to read, and I'm driving back, and I'm got the Bible on. I get off I-75. I got to think about the frogs, and because I was going through this very specific thing, and I just needed guidance. And I'm coming down this road. It's 98, one way, 60 miles per hour, down a hill. There's no one on the road. I'm coming up the hill, and before I got the Bible app on, before I know what's going on, headlights are heading right for me, beelining for me, and before I could tell what was going on, it was too late. I knew I was dead, but I swerved and I braked, and I got over, and he flies by, and I'm like, oh my, that, like, I thought I knew I was dead, and somehow I'm not. So I'm on the phone with 911. I'm like waiting on that to happen, and I see he pulls over on the side of the road and stops, and then there's no one on the road, but then there's a car that's coming over the hill, and he sees that and beelines toward them. Yeah, and then so by then 911 answers. He's like, "Hey, what was it?" And so I said, "There's this guy trying to kill people. He's out here. He nearly killed me." And and they said, "Thank you for calling. Where is he now?" And I looked back and he was gone. So I was nearly killed just like a couple of months ago. I knew. And right as that person was about to hit me, I got that same exact feeling that I got when the lady hit me on my motorcycle, because she nodded for me to go, and I know I saw two people in that car. There was only one. She told me to go, and I remember, like, I went, and then she hits me, and I remember thinking, she's trying to kill me. Like, there's a feeling that someone's trying to literally kill me, and they did. And so I'm thinking, like, what does this all mean? It's a spiritual world that I believe that people are seeking. They're looking for answers in things that you can see, and it's like it's all around us. He's talking to us all the time. We just either are listening or not. And now my eyes are open.
And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs coming out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet.
I mean, there's so much there. So the beast is, that's the beast. And then the false prophet, I believe at the time I needed answers with that too. And then also, like, keeping everything on this show very legit and real, and what it's all about, which is God and the Bible and the Word, and staying true.
I always like too that even if the frogs were evil, God can turn them into good. Start looking for the godly frogs in your life.
I have some people say, well, all God's creatures are good. And I'm like, but crows, man? So just 2 days ago, I saw out my front window an otter, a river otter.
What?
And it looked kind of wet too, with his back that's like, he's running toward me. I'm looking at his little face. This is in the morning. It's like 7 in the morning. I just got up. And I'm looking like, is that an otter? He's being chased by crows. Yeah.
I wonder if they dropped him. Do you think maybe they got him and dropped him?
Maybe a big hawk got him and brought him over here, and now the crows are just taunting him. And the crows were so loud. They were like, rah, 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 rah. And he went that way. He's running from them, and they're up in the trees just calling at him, and it's very quiet here in the morning. And then like 3 minutes later, after it was silent.
It's funny because I love crows. My parents always hated crows, and so they always talked about how dirty they were and everything, And I remember sitting outside looking at these crows and thinking, man, they are really beautiful birds, And then I found out how smart they are. They like to play. So I actually took it as a life lesson, because people will tell you not to like a certain race, not to like a certain religion, not to like this and that, right? You have to look for and see the beauty in everything. I love crows.
Well, what do you say they were doing with the otter?
Well, it's funny because a group of crows is called a murder too. You know that, right?
Oh God! Actually, another sub to the frogs. Just one more. It's the last one. When I told Katie and Danny about me almost being murdered, they said that morning they saw out where they live a snake that had a frog in his mouth, and they saw this. It's a very weird, freaky sight when you see a snake with a frog in its mouth. It's very weird.
That would not be comforting to me.
Right. But for them to say that the same day that someone tried to murder me, all right, that's it with the frogs.
Okay.
No more attention on the frogs, but at least I got it out. So May 31st, 2020 is when I got into the motorcycle accident and I met Jesus. Christine was an episode from the last season. We were in a Bible study group and we were sharing our story, our testimony, and she says that the day that she knew God became real to her, and her clean day, the same exact day that I met Jesus. The same day that Jordan, the host from last season, came to Florida for the first time, because she's from Pennsylvania. She came, it was her very first day in Florida, was May 31st, 2020. She looked and made sure. Ben, episode 1 of this season, his birthday is May 31st. So he had a birthday on May 31st, 2020. That was also Pentecost of that year. And for anyone that doesn't know what Pentecost is, it's when Jesus rose from the dead. He hung out with the disciples for a little while, but then he had to go back to the Father. But he said, don't worry, you guys, I'm gonna send down my Holy Spirit and he will be with you, because I'm only one person. I'm in a human body. I can't be with you all everywhere. So I'm gonna go back up and send you down the third part of me, which is the Holy Spirit that lives in all of us. Christine's episode, we're doing her testimony. She showed me a video of when she was on drugs, when she was on meth, and she was, very high, and she was talking to herself in a mirror, just basically saying like, you're a mess on this stuff, and your kids love you, and what are you doing? And when I saw the video, I saw my sister, my biological sister, I saw her in that video, and so I got this very, very weird feeling like I'm right on track, like God is saying, you're doing right by doing this. So my sister didn't talk to me for an entire year, at least. No calls, no conversation at all. I call her, I leave her messages, just say I love her, and nothing. And so God tells me, hey, this might work. God says, send the episode, send a screenshot of her on drugs. And so I did. And I said, I thought this was you, but it turns out it's not. It's my friend Christine. You should watch this episode. And then I waited. And then I don't know if it was the next day, it could have been. She called me. It worked. I did exactly what I knew what God was telling me to do, was to do this specific thing, and I did it. And she calls me, and I remember when she called me, the conversation was like, she was mad at me and she was yelling, and I felt kind of bad after the conversation ended. And I was like, man, I was forgetting that it had been over a year, and now she finally called. And right at the end of the conversation, she did say, she's yelling, but I love you though, and yell, and then she hung up or whatever. But there it was like that little hope that God's saying, you're right on track, and
don't give up. Don't give up on your sister. Keep praying for her.
No, never give up. God's gonna do it. He's already done so much in my mother, and she now, I told you before, she finally said, because we were checking out groceries and she had just enough money, she said, thank you, Jesus. And I was like, oh yeah. I didn't have to, provoke her to say it this time. She just naturally said it.
I used to think my sister was so annoying, and all she talked about was Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Drove me nuts, But she kept on, and she didn't preach at me though.
Anytime anyone brought up Jesus, I would say, get out of my face. People saying they get chills talking about Jesus before, I'd be like, you freaking weirdo, get away from me. Like, I don't want to hear you getting chills. Like, I don't want to hear that. But I get it now. This experience, the audible voice of God, there's just so many things that already have happened that I know God's there. So I didn't need to hear God's audible voice. But I went through this situation where I needed to work through why something they did that I needed to work through forgiving them. And so I prayed and I said, how do I work this out to where we can be friends again? So I remember, I'll never forget, I'm sitting on my bed right there, and I was about to get up, and in my head it was like very audible in that way that something is in your head. Forgive her. Whoa. It was, I had never experienced anything like that before. It was like, so I knew right then I was gonna, like, I had to, and it would happen. I still didn't know how. Now I do, and I should have known then, but, you know, but that was amazing. I don't need to hear it again, God. You don't need to do that again. I mean, it's not like it was scary or anything, but it was just like very profound. Like, I'm good now. Yeah, very good. I know God exists. And see, this is just from my first episode until now. All of this stuff is happening, but it's constantly seeking every day. I mean, it's like if I'm not constantly learning something a little bit more about this whole thing, I mean, that's what life is all about. God wants us to just acknowledge that He exists and to thank Him for everything that we have in life. That's all He wants. So that is my life now, is just learning how I can do that better and better.
We all go through deserts. How are you gonna handle that when you don't have the feeling of God?
I feel like I've had times lately that I'm asking, hey, what am I supposed to do right now? And it doesn't come. But I know that those are times that He wants me more doing what I'm supposed to be doing and seeking Him more to find that answer. And it always comes. And I know now through a whole bunch of stuff, if it's not 100% God saying, do this, I wait. I wait and I wait and I wait. And if you don't know, you say, is this what you want? And He gives you a confirmation, and He'll tell you again, He'll say, yeah, I'm not gonna forget about this thing you're supposed to do. You gotta do it.
It's definitely persistent for sure. If it's something He doesn't just go, well, He's not gonna do it, I guess I'm done. The whole key really is to just continue having that faith.
And sometimes He just wants you to just sit there and know that He's God. There's a verse, just be still and know that I am God. I was asked to play some hymns at this church, and I was on my way there. I didn't really want to go, but I was just following what God's telling me to do. And I'm going there, and the sunset's really crazy. I'm like, it's kind of freaky. I'm like, wow, this is really cool, because it was like just a slice of a sunset. And I almost took my phone out, but I was driving, so I was like, I can't do that. And so I kind of just forgot about it. But then I was thinking in my head, I was like, about something I needed to ask forgiveness for. I'm coming up to a light, and I look ahead, and I'll show you the video. There's the sunset's behind me, but there's like this glowing thing that's like rays of light. A sun is that way. The sunset's back there, but that thing that's glowing is where I'm going to the Jubilee thing to play some songs at this very small church. Physical proof.
It makes me giggle a little bit when somebody tells me the Bible's not real. It's like, well, you have not studied up on what they had to go through. It is still a living document to this day. Would you not agree?
Yes, oh yeah. Like I said, when I was first figuring out what the Bible, like what it has to offer, it's amazing. When you really need answers, you're like, that's what He wants us to be, is spiritually poor. Blessed are the poor in spirit, just seeking, like, God, I need you. I need you to tell me what to do here. And when you're seeking in that way, you need answers. That is when it starts to really, really speak to you. It's freaky. You guys want freaky stuff and all, like the Ouija board and stuff? This stuff is so freaky. It is so cool and weird and freaky. There's mainstream Christianity where everyone's comfortable. They go up in a church and they hide in the back. They're like, it's like Chipotle. Like they're walking by like, oh, that one looks good, honey. Hey, you think that one looks good? Oh, they don't even have coffee or donuts. And like shopping around, like it's like not like needing it. Life is fine. What do I need God for? I don't need it. And it's sad to say that I think there's gonna be seas, like a sea, like the ocean of people in hell. The people in heaven are gonna be like a tight wire of like like, just narrow road is a very much understatement, I believe. I'm finding that people following Christ as disciples of Christ are so rare, more than you would ever expect.
Right.
And it's sad. And I think people do need to be smacked in their face. Like, wake up. You can't keep sinning,
Right.
and just keep on doing it and repenting in a way, just saying you're sorry.
Oops, I did it again.
Yeah, no. You need an action step toward repentance. Like, you look at porn, you take your laptop and you put it in your sink and you destroy it with water. That's what I had to do. Radical step the other way. If you are facing something that you keep sinning at, smoking, whatever, drugs, you action step, go to Celebrate Recovery. It's a Christ-based recovery program. You work through your stuff. You look
at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah, you really do. You take responsibility. You say, that might have happened to me and it sucked, but I had a part in it. And I'm gonna be real and just say, that's my life and it was trash. That's the action step, is physically going to a group, making sure that you're not gonna do it ever again.
Right.
And the thing is, when you do that, it works.
And it's freeing. I mean, it literally,
Yeah.
you had this burden.
Yes.
I mean, you can't see it, but you can feel it.
It's a
big
chain.
time.
It's chains
Yep.
that are chaining you to the earth. This is something that I didn't even write down, but it's something that I just came to the realization. I had to find this out on my own. So there's a hierarchy. So Jesus is the master of my spirit. I get guidance from Jesus through my spirit to him. But he calls me to be the master of my body, of my flesh. So there's master, and I'm the master of my flesh. I tell it what to do. And so the only thing that the flesh can do that is permitted by God, but it could turn into being a sin, is eating. So that's why we have to periodically fast. We have to show our body, I'm the master of you, and I'll go without food to get back that relationship with Christ. I didn't know that's what fasting was all about.
That's good.
I had to figure it out on my own.
It's like a works-based thing that everybody just kind of just does it because everybody else is doing it. It's not really...
Right. It's just a thing like, oh, well, let's all do it. But what's the reason behind that you're doing it? And I just a week ago, I just did it in that way again. I got the Bible on and I got it in my speakers so loud, it's rumbling the house. This is another thing that happened. I had Revelation on so loud, and I found this old incense from this art festival that I did back in the day. And something told me to burn incense while I'm listening to Revelation it's like fire and, like Revelation's crazy. But I'm fasting and I'm burning incense, and it talks about they burn incense to the Lord, and then he casts something down, and I had this amazing feeling that all these kids, like with the acid culture and the weed and all that and burning incense, they're doing it in a very spiritual way. That original spiritual, awesome incense stuff, the mysteries of God, it was God. It's God. It's amazing. All this stuff that people are seeking, Ouija boards and all, it's all God. And he's way more mysterious than the devil. The devil, you'll get, every time it'll be the same. It's like, okay, I get a little power here and there to do this and that, but it'll destroy you.
Right,
It'll,
torment
yes.
would be not worth it to me.
Yes. And witch is always, the witch, she owned a home, she had a dog, she had her own apartment in Gainesville, we both had our own apartment. She now is homeless. Last time I knew, she was in a jail in some small town in North Carolina. She wrote me a letter that I'll show you a picture of this letter. It is so creepy. There's something that she drew in it. Her dog's gone, lost everything, all her money's gone. It ruined her. And maybe she put a curse on me, but the devil cursed her. And with God, it just keeps getting better. And the profound mysteries keep on, and mystery upon mystery. Just like the universe, you look out at a star, it's 1,000,000 light years away. That star is back in time. Wait, hold on. It's like layers. It just keeps on, like the mysteries keep on. Of course. And
well, even the Bible is a mystery. I mean, because sometimes things are just hidden from you until the perfect time that you need it.
yes, I could go on. There's so many, and the thing is, my next episode this journal will be completely full of stuff. And if anyone else has an experience with demonic, with ghosts, like ghost stories, anything that's happened to you that's very real, reach out, comment on the YouTube channel, just comment, tell me about what happened, and we'll talk, and maybe we could do an episode with you. Because if you just sweep it under, I mean, I could have just forgot about all this stuff or just closed my eyes to it all. And that wouldn't get me anywhere.
I think a lot of people are embarrassed and thinking that it's not very Christian to talk about those kind of things. But I mean, God allows us to go through certain things because I think without it, we wouldn't have empathy for others.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's your testimony. And when you start saying, oh, well, I struggle with, pornography or whatever it was, that's when other people go, well, I struggle too. So I just think it's important that we just be authentic and real and not hide in shame. That's where the devil wants to keep us.
Oh yeah. And all this weird stuff with the ghosts, you guys know you're watching them videos, because I do too. I mean, I still do, because it's getting more crazy. Like things moving, and the demonic stuff is on the rise. I'm saying people don't know that there's a whole spiritual battle going on all around us. And that's what I want to get to just real quick. When I was at this job, it's a warehouse job, they didn't have drinking water for the people working there. And there's lots of people, sweaty work in a warehouse. No water for people to drink. They told me whatever's in the fridge. I said, I'm thirsty. And I look at the fridge, and I'll show you a picture what it says on the fridge. Don't touch other people, SHIT. And so I'm like, wait, that's where the water is? No. So I look in there, of course there's no water. So I clocked out and went to Winn-Dixie and got cases of water out of my own pocket. I mean, I was following the call of God. God was saying, go do this. And I felt it was so weird. I go into Winn-Dixie, and not only is everyone staring at me, and I'm like in a backwards hat and like, work boots, and I'm sweaty, but everyone's staring at me. Not only is everyone staring at me, but I feel like other eyes that I can't even see are looking at me. And it's weird, but I'm just like, whatever, I'll just get through this. And I get the water and I bring it back. But I feel like these eyes on me in a way that I'm on display. Like, what is he gonna do here? Is he gonna stick to what God's telling him to do, or is he gonna stray? And I look over to my left, and there's a state trooper, and he's sitting there right before I thought, oh, well, there's this U-turn thing, but it would be technically illegal to get back to the job, so I could not be clocked out. And I could have done it. And the state trooper was far away enough, he wouldn't even probably have seen me. But it was like, am I going to do the absolute right thing and follow God? Or am I gonna cut corners or whatever? It was like I felt the spiritual world for the first time in a very real way. And so I come back, they were like standing out there ready to fire me. And they see me pushing all this case of water, and they see what I'm doing, and then, then they start talking and they start joking with each other. And so I stocked the fridge with water, and I flipped the sign around, and I put free water in the fridge, and I put 2 Jesus crosses on it.
Aww.
When I first got there, everyone was angry. They were cursing. They didn't even look up. And the last day that they let me go, because I kept asking God, I want to be done here, because I felt like my work was done. And The day they let me go, from the parking lot to where the job site is, there's a downed fence. So people have to walk over this fence. It's a hazard. I tripped over it, of course, on my last day, and I'm stuck. And my prosthetic is like caught under me, and I'm stuck in a way I can't get up, and there's no one around. So it hurts so bad. So I had to twist my prosthetic like all the way around. As soon as I got up, I thanked God, because I was like, if I didn't have a prosthetic, I probably would have broke my ankle or had to break it or whatever. So I'm thanking God for my prosthetic. As soon as I do, I hear this. I was like, and I ran, like I went to the job, like I got out of there. It was either a very large dog, a human man.
That would scare me.
Oh, it scared it.
My first thought was an alligator.
You know, I walk in, everyone greets me. They're all like smiling because I helped this guy out. At first, there was a point where he wanted to smack a bag of chips out of my hand at one point. He was very angry. And the last day, he says, hey Jess, man, hey man, thanks for helping me out last time. And then the next guy smiles, saying hi. It's like the whole atmosphere, the whole place is different. It was like, I didn't know I was getting fired. So he said, hey, the higher ups, they're saying they want to let you go. That was God saying, yeah, you were, congrats, you were being the light that I called you to be. And he tried to give me a reason why. I was like, dude, I don't need a reason. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I got out of there.
So thank you for what you do and continue to do. And I hope that there's a lot more to come. Thanks for joining us. Take care.
I remember feeling this hand on my back. Like I had strength put into me for that moment. And I knew that that was God. I knew that He came when I needed Him most. He was there. We'd gone to Kissimmee Prairie State Park. And it's a 58,000 acre middle of nowhere. There are no streetlights, there are no houses, there are no roads other than dirt roads that you can go camp on, or we were riding our bikes. And I remember just thinking about Riley, and then I look up and I see this red helium balloon in the shape of a heart that says, I love you. And it literally floated right down in between Conrad and I.
Whoa.
And then floated away. And I was like, I love you too, Riley.
Oh, wow.